Buenos días a todos. Es un placer tenerlos en el día de hoy en Buenos días a todos. Es un placer para la Dirección General de Cine tenerlos en el día de hoy en esta presentación del Berlinale Talents del Festival de Berlín. En el día de hoy vamos a tener a Florian Weghorn, quien es Program Manager del Berlinale Talents, para hablarnos un poco más de esta convocatoria que está abierta hasta el 1 de septiembre para el festival que va a ocurrir en febrero del año próximo. Así que muchas gracias por estar aquí y Florian va a acompañarnos con todas sus preguntas. Welcome, Florian. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having me. So it's a pleasure to be with you and also to have the chance to speak about Berlinale Talents in a time when we are receiving so many applications. So it's really, really good to share some more information. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So from here, we're just going to start with the presentation and
yes, I can do that right away. So what I will do here today, since we are in the midst of the application process, I will try to give you some background information, also, of course, on what Berlinale Talents is in general, but also what we can do, and particularly for filmmakers of very different disciplines, because you will find out that Berlinale Talents offers quite a lot. By the way, and this is the most important thing in the beginning, it's an international program, although it sounds very German in some ways, but we are very open and very welcoming to everyone from around the world, and you will see in a minute who this is. This is just to warm us up a little bit, because after so many years now, almost 2 years, we did it online, so we can't wait to have everyone back in Berlin. It's taking place during the Berlinale. The Berlinale is a big film festival in Berlin, and it's showing films, of course, mainly, but it also has a European film market. And the European film market is an industry hub where filmmakers, producers, and all others, buyers, financiers, working and bringing their films so that they can be seen all over the world. And we have a kind of, with Berlinale Talents, one foot in this industry part and one foot in the program part, because we speak about the beauty of cinema, the magic of cinema. We celebrate also the cinema, but we also help emerging filmmakers, as we say, to enter into the worlds and into the industry of this business they are working in. It's taking place in Berlin, as mentioned by Leah, also during the festival, 6 days. The next time it's going to be in February 2023. Sounds far away, but isn't so far away. You can see what's happening here, but I will tell you a bit more about it in a second.
Sí. Bueno, como comentaba Florian, nos va a presentar en el día de hoy Berlinale Talents, que es la parte del programa dentro del Festival de Berlín. Nos comenta que Berlinale es un festival que incluye también EFM, European Film Market, que es la parte de mercado, y el Berlinale Talents, que es lo que nos va a presentar, es ya donde pueden aplicar y que esta convocatoria está abierta, y nos va a presentar ahora un poco de los requisitos y ponernos en contexto.
And to give you some numbers, you will see that Berlinale Talents is rather big. So it's not only 10 people we invite 200 film professionals every year to come to Berlin. There are many more also in the entire festival, but the ones that we select or invite are filmmakers from 14 different disciplines. That's also a bit special. It differs us from other training initiatives, which are normally focusing, let's say, on filmmakers or on producers, directors who are working on their projects, for example. But in Berlin, you can also be a cinematographer, or you can be an actress, or you can be a production designer, and so on. So the atmosphere that you can imagine in this summit is the atmosphere more or less on your production table. So you have these very different perspectives on the way how films are made all together in one place.
Sí, aquí resalta la parte que Berlinale Talents existe desde el 2003 y no es un festival pequeño. La parte del Talents cada año invita a 200 participantes de más de 60 países y lo importante es que comprende 14 disciplinas. No está cerrado solamente a directores y productores, sino otras categorías como actrices, actores, editores, personas cinematográficas, screenwriters. Entonces hay una amplia gama de disciplinas a la que pueden aplicar para participar.
And to attend Berlinale Talents, you need to apply. And this application is actually what is going on right now, very early before the Berlinale. So because we have an application process always in between July and 1st of September. And if you apply for Berlinale Talents, or if you think about applying for Berlinale Talents, you might ask yourself, is it something for very young filmmakers or very young cinematographers, or when is the right moment to apply? And we say emerging filmmakers, and emerging filmmakers we consider someone who is in the 5th to 10th year of her career. It is not that we are checking this out, let's say, in numbers, because every career is a bit different, but it means that you're not in the very, very beginning. So you have made already at least 2 short films, and you have already shown that short films also on various festivals or on festivals, which means you already received resonance on your work. You already know a little bit about how to do it. You have worked in your discipline. You have made a film as a cinematographer, for example, and you're probably working on another one. So you're in the business in a way. You're not wanting to become a filmmaker. You are a filmmaker. But still, of course, there's lots of questions. And we consider that phase or that period in your career when you have achieved already a little bit, but you want to enter into the next step as something very, very important, because that's a crucial point where some very important questions come in. You want to probably see and get to know more international others. So you want to find out how are they doing film. So you question your own work, or you want to receive more knowledge about how to actually produce a film in Europe. Or you want to just learn more about filmmaking as a production designer, but not from your own region. So this is what is offered in Berlin because of that international range of different people coming. And also everyone is a bit of the same age. So average age at Berlinale Talents is, to sum it up, around 32 or 34. But we don't look at the age, it just happens. So there's no age limit on top, and not one on the low, but it just happens and turn out that this is kind of the age where the most talents come to Berlin.
Sí. Aquí Florian nos resalta que el Berlinale Talents busca a profesionales emergentes, que quienes estén al menos entre su 5º y 10º año de experiencia en su carrera. No hay un límite de edad mínimo o máximo, pero sí al menos que hayan tenido 2 cortos y que estos cortos hayan sido exhibidos. El promedio de edad entre las personas que asisten a Berlinale es usualmente 32, 34 años. Nos comparte este dato como de lo que ha sucedido allá. Pero también nos dice que la convocatoria estuvo abierta desde julio y cierra en septiembre, ya que hay un proceso de admisión en el cual las personas tienen que aplicar. Entonces, nos dice que la parte de ser profesionales emergentes, que ya tengan un poco de experiencia y que puedan aprovechar esa experiencia en Berlinale con otros miembros de la industria internacional, tanto en Europa, y que pueda complementar su recorrido.
And the application, which is online on our website, is actually consisting of 3 parts. So one is your filmography, of course. So we want to find out what kind of films you have done already, what are you working on in the moment. And also, if you're a production designer, you will have a project you work on. So something which you can share. You can say, in the moment, I'm working with this and that director on this project, and it will happen in 2023, for example. But you can also let us know, and should let us know, what you've done before. You can also let us know what you have done in other fields, so where you studied, for example, so if you're also having a company and so on, so that we learn a little bit more about yourself. And then, of course, we have a number of questions where you let us know something about your style of work or how you collaborate with others. And this is very much about what also happens at Berlinale Talents itself. So because it is very much about exchanging, as I said, these different ways of working and learning. We are sure you have some very special talent, for example, that you want to share. And we're asking for that, so that you let us know what is that really makes you interesting or good or a talent. And then the third part is a sample of work. It's only 3 minutes, so it's like a super short example of your previous work. You choose it from one of your films and you relate it in a way to that other questions, so that we get a bigger picture of what kind of person you are.
Sí. Aquí Florian nos comentaba que la aplicación es totalmente en línea, que hay una serie de requisitos como unas preguntas que hay que responder y también un video corto de algunos de sus trabajos previos que se puedan conectar de alguna manera a las explicaciones anteriores de las preguntas para ellos poder evaluar la aplicación.
And I will tell you now what actually is happening in Berlin. And when we go a little bit deeper into that, we will come back to the application, because there's also project labs you can apply for. And I will tell you a little bit more about what you need to apply for that. But first and foremost, we want to show you what's actually happening. When you're in Berlin, you will see that Berlinale is kind of a huge festival. A lot is happening here, and we're adding something to it. So we have 3 houses, like 3 big theater houses, in which we also gather public audience together with the filmmakers and with other industry professionals, so that we can celebrate cinema together. And this is sometimes done, as you can see in the middle picture here, in a huge theater. Sometimes it's also done among ourselves. So in the left picture, you can see us, the 200 talents, sitting together, talking with each other and exchanging among ourselves. And this is what we call the summit. The summit always has a topic. In 2021, it was dreams. In 2022, it was labors of cinema. So we were talking about working conditions and so on. And it brings together quite a number of very cool people. You can see some of them here. There's dozens more every year who come to Berlinale Talents and actually speak and meet almost on eye level, I would say, more or less like comics. You want to translate? Otherwise, I just move on, Leah, because I think the second part is probably even more important to translate. Because if you are a producer, or if you are a screenwriter, or if you are a director, we offer an additional opportunity. So out of the 200 talents attending Berlinale Talents, 40 attend actually additionally also what we call the Talents Labs. And the Talents Labs are a place where you can work directly on a script, or where you can meet potential co-producers. So here you kind of focus on one particular thing, which is your own project in development. Whereas when you take part in the summit, you open your mind, you widen yourself, you change your perspectives, and you also, of course, can promote your work. You can also meet many, many other people, but it's not together with a mentor. So it's a decision you have to make when you apply, what you need in the moment, whether you want to go to the lab or only to the summit.
Sí. Ahí nos menciona un poquito también del slide anterior, Florian, sobre lo que ocurre en Berlín, el Summit. Cada año hay un tema específico que todo gira en torno a eso. Y específicamente hay secciones distintas en las cuales cuando hacen su aplicación pueden elegir el Short Form Station, Script Station para guionistas o el Doc Station, o en el caso que quieran participar solamente del Summit o, como menciona, el Talent Project Market, que tiene una cooperación con el Berlinale Co-Production Market enfocado en coproducciones. Así que hay muchas opciones de las cuales elegir al momento de hacer la convocatoria, la aplicación. Entonces, nos mencionaba un poquito sobre esto.
Thank you. And probably you will have more definite questions on that later on, because we kind of say a lot about, okay, at which stage does a project need to be when you apply for the script station, or what is actually happening at the talent project market. I'm very happy to share that, but I also recommend already at this point to go to our website and just look into what we call the how to apply page, because we explain quite detailed what is needed. So we need a script here, or we need some background information on your budget there. And it's a long list. This is why it's very good that we speak today, because if you want to apply, it might need the weekend to fill it all in. But to sum it up, here it is very important to find out at which stage your project is and what in particular you need to make it better. So what in particular, if you are a screenwriter, helps you to make your project a better project. And what in particular, if you're a producer and you want to apply for the talent project market, is needed to find more financial sources and also a co-producer. So where does this co-producer should come from and so on. So you might have ideas in your mind, and everything you have in mind doesn't need to be right or doesn't need to be perfect, but it's good to share it when you apply for the talent.
Sí, básicamente que es importante saber en qué etapa está el proyecto para identificar realmente a qué parte del Berlinale quieren aplicar o en qué sección. Entonces nos comparte también Florian que en la página de Berlinale Talents que estaremos compartiendo justo abajo hay una sección de cómo aplicar, lo cual sería de mucha ayuda para ustedes en el momento de hacer su aplicación.
Perfect. Thanks for sharing the page already. I just wanted to sum something up here. So because, as I told you in the very beginning, Berlinale Talents is particularly for everyone who is working in the film business. And we really, really stress that point. We find that super important that we treat everyone equally. And it's not only the director who is invited or the producer, but also everyone else who kind of does the magic of cinema. And you can see here that we offer workshops, particularly for each field of work. So if you're, for example, an editor and you apply for Berlinale Talents and you're selected as an editor, you also go to the editing studio, which is your lab in a way, where also editing questions are brought up and where you sit together with a number of other editors from around the world, something that normally very rarely happens because an editor is normally very alone in a room and working on a film. And here you can meet many others. The same goes for talent press, which is film critiques, and also, of course, it goes for everyone all together when we are speaking about the Talents Tanks, which is a workshop format where we share and exchange among each other every morning all together. I don't know if you want to translate, Leah. Otherwise, I just move on so that we can come to the questions. This is just to sum it up. You will see if you invite 200 talents every year and you also do that for 20 years, it's quite a huge number. So what I'm expressing here today is you would apply for Berlinale Talents as the beginning of a longer relationship you can have with us, but also you can have with the talents and the alumni around the world, because we stick together. We remain all together in what we call the alumni community. And that's quite a huge number. It's around almost 10,000 people from around the world who have been taking part in Berlinale Talents in its various different places, and who brought up their films, who brought together many, many things. So you can watch out and see. You cannot see the films, of course, but you can see what films they've made. And it's also a group that we meet again and again whenever we are in other festivals. And I want to tell you and conclude with something which is actually geographically a little bit closer to you, because we're speaking about Berlin today, but Talents has also international offshoots, and one of them is in Guadalajara. In Mexico. Others are, as you can see, in Tokyo or in Buenos Aires or in Beirut, for example. And they're dealing with filmmakers, or they're open to filmmakers from these respective regions. They're not happening in February, but over the whole year. And they have separate websites and separate application processes. And if you have attended Berlinale Talents in Berlin, you can go to Guadalajara afterwards and apply there, or also the other way around. So there's different ways of doing it, no order, it's always open. But I strongly recommend also to check out Talents Guadalajara at some point, because of course the regional focus makes it very interesting for filmmakers from the region.
Sí, nos comenta Florian que aparte de la sección de Berlinale Talents en Berlín, Alemania, tienen otros focos en otras regiones, y específicamente resalta la región de Guadalajara, en México, donde ocurre el Talent Press, y una cosa no es excluyente de la otra. Se aplican en Guadalajara, posteriormente pueden aplicar a Berlín, o aplicar a Berlín y luego Guadalajara, o cualquiera de las demás regiones, y cada una de ellas tiene una página separada con fechas de convocatoria distintas que también sería interesante explorar.
Wonderful. So I think we can end with the presentation, and I see there's also some questions, right?
Sí.
How do we do it with the questions? How do I see them? Will you read them, Leah?
Yes, yeah, they're going to be popping up shortly. Sí. Aquí podemos ver de nuevo el link de aplicación.
Very good, thank you.
Okay, sí. I think something interesting to wrap up would be on our participation as a Dominican Republic. I would mention la República Dominicana. Compartíamos con Florian que desde su inicio ha tenido una participación de 18 personas dominicanas en Berlinale, y actualmente hay otros dominicanos aplicando, así que nos sentimos sumamente felices y orgullosos con eso. So some of the question would be repeating the deadline and the 3 sections that they can apply for.
So the deadline is 1st of September, which is actually by the mid of this week or the next week. So if you want to apply, I would recommend that you check out the application right away, and especially the regulations we've been speaking about. The page that we've brought up here actually leads you directly to a subpage, which is not the application itself, but a good page to give all the answers on what you need to know. So you would choose your field of work, and then the page gives you the exact answer on who can apply and what is needed to do it, and what is actually the questions. And if you want to further check it out, you would create yourself a profile and have a look directly there, or give it a try. One thing which is very, very important to mention here, since it's also short before the deadline and it's probably too much of a rush, If you don't apply for this year, you can do it next year. And even if you apply for this year and it doesn't work out, that is not a problem at all. People do apply several times, and it's not a minus at all to be not selected in the first round. This happens very often.
Ok, nos comenta Florian en base a la pregunta que la convocatoria está abierta hasta el día 1 de septiembre, que verifiquen las bases y que usualmente sucede como son 200 personas de todo el mundo, hay ocasiones que las personas no son seleccionadas y eso no representa ningún problema, pueden aplicar más veces. E igualmente, si no pueden aplicar este año y si no funciona o no tienen el tiempo, pueden igual aplicar para el año siguiente. En su página hay una parte descriptiva dependiendo de a qué sección van a estar aplicando, si es como guionistas, si es como directores o en una de las 14 áreas y tienen requisitos muy, muy específicos.
Exactly.
Yes, I think some other were on our other social media, so I will be reading them as well here. It's regarding your presence in Guadalajara, if there's the dynamic in Guadalajara is the same or at the other Talents Press, if you can speak a little bit more of that.
Yeah, Guadalajara is a bit smaller than Berlin in numbers, but in terms of the variety of different things on offer, it's rather comparable. Of course, it's a different market, but also as a producer, for example, you can be there and present your projects and link your project in particular with filmmakers or producers or financiers from the region, which is a very strong asset of the Guadalajara film market because it brings together all the important people from the region and even from North America. And also what is offered in the summit program is comparable, smaller, not so many fields of work as we have in Berlin, but absolutely comparable in quality. So there's also a camera studio, for example.
Sí, nos comenta Florian sobre la experiencia en Guadalajara, que obviamente es un poco más pequeño y no necesariamente tiene todas las 14 líneas como en Berlín. No obstante, la calidad es la misma y hay muchas oportunidades de explorar también en esos otros secciones de Berlinale en otras regiones. We have a question regarding the specific category of acting.
Mm-hmm.
How does it work? If there's something you could share with us?
Yeah. So, the application regulations are comparable to what I've mentioned. So you should have been an actress or an actor in at least 2 films. And we say at least, so because 2 short films, that's the minimum number of films we require. But very often people have made more films or have been actress or actress in those films. And you would let us know a lot about also how you work and what you want to achieve as an actress or actor. And once selected, you would be automatically considered for the acting studio, so you don't need to apply for that in addition. And this is a workshop which is particularly offered to you. It doesn't take you the time of an entire week. So within the 6 days, you would also do a lot of other stuff. But for 2 days within the 6 days, you would be with the other actors together in an acting workshop led by 2 wonderful acting coaches from the US. And that would normally also help you to improve your acting. Of course, we bring you also in touch with a lot of people so that you can find new collaborators in future.
Sí, nos comenta Florian que la sección específica de actuación, al igual que en otras, el mínimo es que haya actuado en al menos 2 largometrajes o cortometrajes en las que haya participado como actor o actriz. Y menciona que la dinámica en Berlinale durante los 6 días son una serie de actividades distintas, pero que durante los 2 días específicos se reciben workshops de actuación con profesionales internacionales, entonces eso también complementa la experiencia. Great, I think we have another last question, which would be regarding if you're selected, is Berlinale covering some costs for the participation, travel
Connection was a bit bad here, but I think I got the question. So if it's about, yeah, I think I got the question. So if it's about whether we cover travel expenses and so on.
Yes, sorry, it's about the selection process. If the person is selected to go to Berlin, is the festival or the section covering something?
First of all, the participation at Berlinale Talents is free of charge, so there's no extra cost on that. For the travel expenses and for the hostel, we don't cover it from our side, apart from very exceptional cases. So we have hardship cases funds where you can apply for if no other support is possible from any side, so from your own side or from a film institute and so on. And our relationship with many film institutions is very, very strong. So what we do normally, once a filmmaker is selected from a certain region, we do let the people from the film institutes or other representatives in the country know, and then we work together so that we can support your travel, but it needs to be done from their side and expenses. So because Berlin doesn't offer Berlin travel expenses for all talents. Unfortunately, I have to say we would love to do that, but that's impossible with 200 people. But we wouldn't leave anyone at home, so that's important to know. Okay. So it's very.
Yes, thank you so much, Florian.
Sí. Apply.
Sí, nos comentaba un poquito que depende, al ser 200 personas de todo el mundo, hay una parte de apoyo del festival y contacto, colaborar, cubrir.
Are you still there?
Yes. Do you hear me?
Good.
Yes. I can. Yeah. Yes. Just one last question. If you have an area of preference regarding filmmakers, I think you made that clear that it's open in 14 different categories that people can apply to.
Exactly, and also with regards to geographical, we don't have any preference. So we are following the quality and the innovativeness of your work. So feel very much invited to come up with whatever you have in mind, and whatever makes you an outstanding filmmaker or film professional from whatever discipline.
Perfecto. Nos comenta Florian que tienen 14 líneas de apoyo. No hay una preferencia, todos pueden aplicar si cumplen con los requisitos. Thank you so much, Florian, for your time, for sharing us a little bit more about Berlinale Talent. Part of next. We're going to leave this live session for more information, and we're also going to keep the link with how to apply and where they can do their applications. So thank you so much. Muchas gracias a todos por sintonizar. Dejaremos el enlace de la aplicación y los requisitos. Recordamos que la convocatoria sigue abierta hasta el 1 de septiembre. Igualmente hay otra sección de Berlinale, la sección de co-production, que sigue abierta hasta el 30 de septiembre. Igual estaremos compartiendo las informaciones en nuestras redes sociales. Gracias. Thank you so much, Florian.
Thank you very much, Karatja. Thank you. I look forward to seeing you all in Berlin.